right, hi boys and girls. We're here with our Tuesday writing video for the week, and we're still talking about narrative stories, which we refer to as real or made up stories. They can be either kind. Yesterday, Mrs. Grant, we were talking about how no matter what kind of narrative it is, whether it's real or made up, there was something that was in common with all of them. And it's on this paper. Do you remember what all kinds of narratives have to have?
They have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
You got it. So today we are going to be doing some color coding, and our friends are going to need 2 colors if they can. I'm going to explain, or 1. So our color today is purple, okay? We are going to be using a purple crayon to be color coding some of the story. We also need lilac, which they might not know what lilac is. So lilac is a really light purple. It's almost like a lavender.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't find 2 different shades of purple, like a light one and a dark one, you could always just find 1 purple crayon, and you can color the part that we need lilac really lightly, and then the part that we need purple, you could press down a little harder and make it darker, okay? So Mrs. Grant, I have laid out 2 crayons that you're going to use, and what I would like you to do to start is I want you to take the lilac crayon and I want you to just shade in this box here that says beginning. And boys and girls at home, once you have your crayons, you can do the same thing. So Mrs. Grant is coloring in beginning. The beginning of a story gives us some important information. It is going to tell us who the story is about, so our characters. It's going to tell us where or when the story takes place, which is our setting. Now, we are going to be looking at an example of a story, and we're going to see if we can find the beginning of that story in just a few minutes. All right, now let's take a look. The next part of our story is the middle, and Mrs. Grant's going to be coloring that in a bit darker of a purple. Maybe a little darker.
A little darker?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. There, that might look better on the video.
Okay.
All right. So in the middle of the story, it's going to start telling us what's happening. It's going to put all of the events in order like we've seen in our reading lessons. First, next, then, and last. Finally, at the end of the story, we're still purple, okay? We're still that nice shade of purple. It is going to tell us the end of the story. This is usually where we're going to see how the characters feel at the end. It's usually when the problem is solved in a story.
Okay.
All right. Why don't we take a look at the story that goes along with today's lesson? It's on the next page. And Mrs. Grant and I are going to be reading this story to you, and then we are going to go back and color code this story according to the beginning, the middle, and the end. So I will go ahead and get started, and maybe you could read the middle and I'll...
Sure.
All right. So it is called My Robot Twin. I pushed the on button behind its ear. Whoosh! It came to life. Hi, Tony. It said, success! I had built a robot in my bedroom. It looked and sounded just like me. It was my robot twin.
It was a really nice day, and I didn't want to go to school. I told my robot to go instead of me. It walked to the bus, and away my robot went. I hid in my room until my family left for the day. Then I went out to play in the backyard. I played in my sandbox, I swung on my swing set, I bounced my ball off the wall.
I wanted to have fun, but I felt lonely. I wondered what my robot twin was doing. Was my best friend telling it a joke? Was it playing tag on the playground? Finally, the bus came home. My robot twin got off and walked in the house. It was smiling like it had enjoyed a good day. I like school, it said. I said it could stay home and play from now on. I wanted to go back to school. All right, I like that story. Could you imagine having a robot twin?
Yeah, I wouldn't want it to do the fun stuff though. I'd want it to
No.
like clean my bathrooms and
Yeah.
fold laundry and
Stuff
like
give
that.
the dog a bath.
clean the litter box.
Oh,
I hate cleaning the litter
Yes.
box.
That's what I would use my robot twin
Yeah.
for. I would do the fun stuff.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. This is pretty easy. You got to hear a fun story, and we are just going to color code it with the same colors that we just used. So if you remember, we used that really light purple to introduce our characters and our setting. And that is going to be in our first paragraph. Our beginning paragraph talked about who we had. We knew that Tony was the boy. We knew that there was a robot. We knew that they were in their bedroom. So we know who the characters are and we know the setting. So you can go ahead and circle that first paragraph with your lightest purple. All right. Now, as the story goes on and we get more and more details about the story, the color is going to get darker. So our next two paragraphs, we are going to circle in that dark purple. In the middle, we're starting to hear about some of the events that are happening, like the robot going to school and the boy getting to stay home. And then finally at the end, we're realizing how the character feels, right? He didn't really like that he decided to have his robot go to school. And how did he solve the problem? He was like, I'm gonna have my robot do what?
I'm going to have my robot
Probably not go to school anymore.
probably
right?
stay home and make my bed.
Yeah, do
my
that.
chores before I get home.
Do that boring stuff. So boys and girls, this is all you have to do for today's lesson. Why are we having you color? Because we want you to understand that a good story has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. And we'll see you back tomorrow, and we're going to get started with our own story.